Very pleasant. Carol, thank you.
Now, we have been closely following the Post Office Horizon scandal here on BBC Breakfast, speaking to many of those whose lives were devastated.
Now, Will Mellor, who played the former sub-postmaster Lee Castleton in ITV's Mr Bates versus the Post Office, has met people from across England whose lives were simply blown apart by the scandal as part of a new BBC documentary.
Well, many, including former Post Office clerk Stephanie Gibson, have never spoken publicly of their experience before. Let's take a look as she shares her story with Will. Delighted to say Stephanie and Will are with us this morning. Nice to see you both.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Stephanie, talk to us about what you went through. How are you feeling now?
Oh, I'm all right. The more I speak out about it, the better it's getting for me. But no, I've had 16 years of this.
Do you feel that you're at the end of it yet?
No, nowhere near. Just the start. Suppose speaking out and doing the programme with you, it's just the start, isn't it?
Do you think, now that you're feeling a little bit of a sense of, is it relief? I don't know. Now that you're speaking.
Yeah.
Part of the problem was that actually it was just a burden that you carried that you couldn't talk about.
16 years of it.
How was that?
Horrendous. You know, you think that you get not guilty, that's it. You're going to walk out of court and you can start your life all over, but it didn't. That was just the start of a total nightmare for me.
Why? What happened?
People that you thought were your neighbours, friends, you know, community, drove us out. They weren't, you know, friends anymore. We just felt as though we had to go, you know, start a new life in a new house. And then, my partner and my mother-in-law said, no, you need to fight back. So that was the start of it. I went for compensation. And then that's when you come along.
Will you come into this story, obviously given your role in Mr Bates versus the Post Office?
Yep.
As an actor, when you take on a role, you're playing a role normally, aren't you? This became so much more for you, didn't it?
Well, playing a real person has its all different challenges and scary as well, because you know the person's going to be watching it. But we couldn't have imagined the impact Mr Bates was going to have on the nation and the country. So proud to be in it. And a bit frustrated that it took a drama, really, to make this difference. But I'm so happy that we've done it. But yeah, there was a lot of pressure to do it. But when we were reading the script, we was like, can you believe this really happened? That they actually did this to these people? Where's the humanity? So I'm really glad that I've had a chance now and given a platform to be able to make this documentary, to give other people like Stephanie a voice, to be able to try and move on, try and get closure, and have their stories told. Because when we did the drama, Lee Castleton, who I played, he was telling me, he said, we've been trying to be heard for years and nobody was listening. He said, and now, because of the drama, we've got a voice. And I was thinking there must be so many other people out there who haven't had a voice, who haven't had a chance to speak and tell their story, and hopefully get some justice for these people. So that's what this documentary is about, surviving the Post Office, and I'm so proud of it. And hopefully trying to get people closure, because some of these stories are horrendous. Her lives were turned upside down, and her kids, their families. It's not just about the people that was accused.
Talking of the documentary, I mean, you went back to the street, didn't you? And Will took you back to that street where you used to live. You hadn't been back for years, had you? And you went back since you were cleared of those allegations. Let's have a look at that clip.
It's clear.
Wow, Stephanie, what a moment that was.
I know. Crazy.
How much did that help you since that's happened, that one message?
It meant the world. I mean, as you know from my reaction, I just wasn't expecting that. I didn't know the lady, God love her. But it meant the absolute world to us for her to do that, just to come over and say, you can pop the mine for a cuppa. That's what we did, Pre-post office, that's what we did, you popped to someone's house for a cuppa. That was my community. That just got torn away.
When you say it got torn away, What happened? Where did people find out about what was supposed to have gone
Well,
on?
mud sticks, doesn't it? You know, once you've been through Crown Court for something as massive as what I did, you know, even if you're found not guilty, it doesn't matter. I've put it upon myself to fight back on my own back, you know, and that's what we've got to keep doing, like you keep saying. You know, you've just got to keep on fighting.
And Will, how tricky was it for the film to find people who maybe we hadn't heard of before and persuade them to talk about this? Because it's hugely traumatic.
Like you say, you're talking about trauma, and who wants to go and revisit that? And I think there's a lot of people who were stuck because they didn't feel they would be heard. Like Stephanie was saying, people were throwing bricks through windows and kids were getting bullied. We're talking about families. I mean, kids have lost their whole childhoods because of this. They had to move home. Families were split up, you know, and people, you can see from Stephanie, the trauma's still real. It's still there. It's 16 years on. So this was to encourage people to come out and tell your story. You'll be heard. And I know what this public did last time when we did the drama. They got up and they stood behind these people and we said, no, we're not having it. It's David and Goliath this. We need the support. And these people need the support. And let's get justice for these people, just to help them move on as well. Compensation, yes. Redress, yes. But we need people to be held accountable. Also, we need to give these people courage to be able to stand up and tell their story. And this documentary, hopefully, has helped. And it will encourage other people to come forward as well, because I know there's so many out there whose stories haven't been told yet.
Yeah.
And what it reminded us of as well is that each one of these individual stories is really different. The impact that it's had on everyone's life is very different. Since you've been able to talk about it, have you got help? Do people help you? Have you had any support?
I've literally just put it to the back of my head, you know, for 16 years until I was, you know, encouraged slightly to talk about it, do something about it. That I started the first steps of my compensation. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to stop there, you know. After the Alan Bates programme, I don't know, it was just something inside of us spurred us on to, and I thought I've got to do something because there's got to be other people more than me, you know, out there. And there has, you know, I was right about that.
But while you want to help other people, is anyone helping you?
Well, no. My partner. Yeah.
And what's next for you now? What's the future like for you now?
I don't know. It's like I said a million times before, you know, you don't get a sorry, you don't get an apology, you know. I class myself as one of the lucky ones because I was found not guilty. I should have been able to walk away from that, you know, and get on with my life. It wasn't like that.
And Will, what do you want this documentary to do?
Keep people talking.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
the one thing I don't want to happen is, because obviously the drama came out in January, we don't want this to be brushed under the carpet again. People have waited long enough. People are not getting any younger. I mean, people have lost loved ones. We can't get them back. We can't replace them. What we can do is try and get some admission, some blame maybe, some justice. Yeah. Compensation is definitely one of them things. But at the same time, acknowledge that you've ruined people's lives, not just the people that were accused, their families, their children have lost childhoods. You'll see in this documentary, these people who've sadly passed away, or people who are seriously ill, that they really believe the stress caused by what happened with the post office was to blame. So listen, we know there's a huge picture here, but we can't let it go away. We have to make sure something is done. And now, stop kicking the can down the road. And I know how strong we can be when we come together in this country. So let's rise up for these people. They deserve it, and they need the support.
Will, Stephanie, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in.
And we do have a statement from the Post Office. They've said they are sorry for the suffering caused to so many people. They added, they now work in partnership with postmasters and are committed to transforming today's post office.
That documentary, it's called Surviving the Post Office. It's on BBC One at 8:30 tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, it's 8:30 exactly. Time to get the news, the travel and the weather where you are.